It's J-Rod here for Rich Retirement TV, and today I want to do a follow-up on some of my favorite 5G stocks. But before I do, I want to talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite bands, AC/DC. If you know anything about their music, a lot of their songs, to me, are very good, but a lot of their songs kind of sound the same. They've more or less found their winning formula in the late 70s and stuck with it through the 70s, 80s, 90s into what they're doing today. And a lot of people like it. I mean, they've made a string of hits over that time, but a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people think that their songs sound too similar, right? They're usually 3 or 4 chords, standard verse, chorus formula, and a guitar solo. But they continued to make hits for several decades. And like 'em or lump 'em, they made a lot of money doing that. And when it comes to investing, you want to make the same type of decision. Going out and finding, a unique sound is, or a unique investment is great. But when you have something that's working, stick with it until it doesn't work anymore. And 5G has been that winner for us here at Rich Retirement TV. Some of our biggest gains here in the videos that I've shown you guys is that they've come from 5G. So I want to take a look at 3 of my favorite 5G stocks right now and how they can continue to deliver winning profits for you. So let's go ahead and dig right in here. All right, so the first stock on our list is Gogo, ticker GOGO, and they're a leader in in-flight internet connectivity. If you've flown, a big commercial jet in the last, 5 years or so, you've probably connected to the internet in flight through Gogo. But even aside from their commercial jet, partnerships, they're an even bigger force in business jets, right? So you think about the companies or the jets that companies own, or say high net worth clients that are flying business on their jets. Gogo has the one up there, and they just reported here recently 1,000 business jet installations of their Advanced L5 system, and that's just their proprietary system for in-flight connectivity. What's great about this system, and I think what sets Gogo up for a long-term win, is that they've got so many installations across their commercial and business jet fleets. They've got some of these installations that they can easily, and they're in the process of doing this, upgrading folks that have 4G systems into 5G. And it's, right now, a lot of, probably thinking, Jared, what are you talking about these jets for? Nobody's flying. Right now, business jets are still flying, and they're taking the opportunity, even the commercial jets that are parked, are taking the opportunity to upgrade the infrastructure of these jets now, right? So there's a big opportunity. Again, we're still in the beginning stages of 5G rollout in terms of like customer adoption. So as these jets get upgraded, Gogo is going to be in business for quite some time doing that work. And as you can see here, just on that news alone, the stock has. Let me grab my pointer here. It popped more than 20% yesterday. Oops. And on very, very heavy volume here. So it tells you not just a big pop, but a huge inflow of money into this stock. And what I really, really like about Gogo right now is you take a look here at this horizontal range here, right, between $4 and $150. The stock is basically traded in for the last, let's call it 6 months or so. That's a range of 350. You see that massive break here of $4. That sets, if you take that 350 range, pop it on top of $4, that gives you a price target of $7.50. It's more than 40% upside from where the stock closed yesterday. And again, it's a big move yesterday. There could be a pullback either today or over the next couple of days. But I still think there's a lot of upside here for this stock on this big breakout here. So you've got pretty much anywhere from here, if the stock pulls back down to $4, you've got plenty of room here. Again, another thing I love here, you've got a big retake here of the 200-day moving average, that blue line here, which is really the long-term trend of the stock. And you see it's been heading down, especially as we, especially as you take a look at what happened here in March with COVID. But you've got here in the shorter term the red line here. That's your 50-day moving average, the shorter term. You see here that back in May the stock really starts recovering from the COVID crash. That 50-day moving average that it flattens out here, starts to turn positive. You've got it here basically for the last 2 months or so, acting as support, and then as you have that retest of $4 here in the last week or so, the explosive move higher, stock takes over the 200-day moving average, and now you've got 3 levels of support here for the stock. You've got that $4. You've got that $4 resistance, which could very well be support moving forward. You've got the 200-day moving average, and you've got this 50-day moving average. You got 3 levels of support. It's like having 3 guys behind you pushing you forward. If you fall back, they got your back. That's kind of what I see here for Gogo. And then you take a look. Take off my pointer. Just one more thing here to show you. On a longer term basis here, so you're looking at a weekly chart now as opposed to the daily chart. Let me pull up my trend tools here. You take a look. So again, the Gogo has been in a longer term downtrend here for a bit, but you see here a breakout of that downtrend and a retake here of the 50-week moving average, which is an even longer term period. What I really like to look at, pull this back up to the daily. I really like to look at more than one time period when I'm looking at charts. I like to know what the daily chart looks like, but I like to zoom out and see as well what the longer term trend of a stock is. You see, Gogo has a lot of room to run higher here in the short term, but in the long term, you're seeing a major shift in the trend here. So as jets are down, or not flying as much commercially, you're still seeing a lot of business flights, and you're seeing airline operators upgrading their planes now for when the rush of traffic, air traffic, is going to head back in. So a lot to like there with Gogo. Let's take a look at our second stock here. There we go. Maxar. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Maxar. They're a major satellite manufacturer and a key company in the 5G rollout here. And if you've been watching these videos for a while, it's been a big winner for you here at Rich Retirement TV. The stock is up nearly 100% since I first put it on your radar here back in March, and I did a follow-up video in July, and the stock's up in 65% plus in less than a month since that update. So again, if you took those, if you were able to grab those profits, pat yourself on the back. Not easy to do in the COVID world, but again, if you stick with the hits, 5G being one of them, you're gonna make rain. And you take a look, Maxar, again, you see here a big move higher. In video in July, I told you that earnings were on the way. We're seeing a lot of orders come in to Maxar for satellites, both low Earth. They specialize in both geosynchronous satellites, which are the big satellites that don't move, and then the low Earth orbit satellites, LEO for short. These are the satellites that do move. They're low in orbit. They're cheaper to manufacture. They're cheaper to get up into space. And Maxar has been doing produces both of these satellites, and they've gotten a lot of orders recently for low Earth orbit satellites. I might have mentioned that back in March, before the crisis of COVID, I had a chance to head down to the Satellite 2020 conference, where the CEO, the more or less newly installed CEO at the time, Dan Jablonski, was speaking on a panel of satellite manufacturers, and he has led a massive turnaround for the company, taking them away from just pure manufacturing into cloud-based satellite services. He was the CEO formerly of a company called DigiGlobe that was acquired by Maxar, and with that acquisition, he rose to the top spot there, and he's done a lot of great stuff there. Again, I like to call it an Apple-like move, moving Maxar from the manufacturing of products into the higher margin software services, and you really think of Maxar as satellite as a service. That's kind of the product offering that they're offering to their customers here. But in any event, Maxar continues to surge with the 5G. Rollout of 5G and the infrastructure build out. They just announced in 2020 they announced a big contract with satellite operator Intelsat to build four satellites for them to deliver 5G communications. They've got a large backlog of orders with the U.S. government. In fact, if we take a look, get away from the satellites and take a look at their services lineup. You might have noticed in July, or you might have read the news in July about fake Iranian aircraft carriers in the Mediterranean Sea. Well, it was Maxar's satellites, or Maxar's satellite technology, that spotted those carriers, and they're big client of the U.S. government, helping the military spot things like this. Knowing having this kind of warning allowed the military to coordinate with their with partners in Europe and in the Middle East to secure that region from the military exercises that Iran was going to engage in. But again, so you've got Maxar building satellites. You've got Maxar's their clouds, their Earth Intelligence segment, which houses the imaging that the government's using here. You've got a lot of backlog here of long-term contracts that are being signed now. Revenues coming in. You got a lot of momentum for Maxar moving forward on the fundamental side. You take a look at the chart; looks great on the technical side too. Again, post earnings, the stock soared. Again, seeing the momentum behind the higher margin products really have an impact on the bottom line, helping to fuel a series of earnings beats in 2020. I expect that momentum to continue. You take a look here just at the chart, the massive breakout here over that $20 resistance level here, and you might be able to see it, you might not. I'm going to help you out if not. An ascending triangle pattern start to form here. That's a pretty crappy triangle, but either way, you've got the stock putting in a low here in the middle of March, climbing higher, retaking the 200-day moving average, which is the blue line here. You see that line is moving forward, so the long-term trend of the stock is higher. You've got the red line moving higher as well. That's the 50-day moving average, which is also your shorter-term moving average. The stock, as it as we head towards that early August earnings date, you see the 50-day support, you see the 200-day moving average as support, that big breakout there. But this pattern here that forms, that's basically you take $20 here at the top, you take $8 here at the bottom, $12 range. Put that on top of the $20 breakout here, that gives you $32 price target here from where the stock is trading at 26. We're talking about upside 30%, but I think we can even go higher than that. If you take a look, here on the weekly chart, you see the big breakout here at $20, but you take this wider range here of $20 to $4, right? That's a $16 range. Slap that on top of 20, and that gives you $36. So I think the stock could easily make its way to between $36, $40. You're talking about upside of anywhere from 35 to 50% plus from where the stock closed yesterday. So if you're looking at the stock and oh man, J-Rod, we've already seen a big move, can't go higher. This stock can absolutely go higher, and I expect that it will. It's got enough momentum behind it. It's got enough in terms of long-term projects. The company itself has enough long-term projects to keep that momentum flowing higher. So a lot to love here for Maxar. And the last stock that I want to take a look at here is SKM, or SK Telecom, that's ticker SKM. They're the largest 5G operator or telecom provider in South Korea. In case you didn't know, South Korea is the second in the world for 5G subscribers behind just China. They've got in South Korea 10% of the wireless subscriptions are 5G, and the subscriptions are soaring. What I love about SKM right now, again, you've got another ascending triangle pattern here that was just broken. The low being about $15, all the way up to 21. That's a $6 range. That breakout here, you slap that on top of 21. That gives you a target of 27. That is upside of 17% from where the stock closed yesterday, about $23. You've got a longer term. You got a longer term trend downtrend break here. Again, let's go back out to the weekly chart here. Yes, we can do that. All right. Yeah, you take a look here. This pointing back up. Yeah, take a look. Another longer term downtrend break. Retake of the 50-week moving average. We could see some resistance here around $24, which is where the 200-week moving average is, which is about roughly $4 or $5 or 5-year average here for the stock. But again, with so much momentum behind the 5G rollout, I don't expect to see. You might see a pullback at that 24 level, but I think there's enough behind the stock to keep things rolling. And you take a look here. The last thing I want to see here is you've got the beginning of a golden cross here. That's when the 50-day moving average, which is this red line here, breaks out above the 200-day moving average. And that's a sign of momentum, a bullish momentum, where you've got just the trend, and the long-term trend is up, short-term trend is up. When you see the price of a stock cross above both of those lines, that tells you that all the three phases there, short-term, you say mid-term and long-term, are all in the same phase here. So a lot to love here. And again, another company just like Maxar. Maxar beat estimates on both sales and earnings. SKM beat on earnings, and you've got post earnings announcement drift pushing that stock higher, which it's a fancy way of saying that a stock has a tendency to drift in the direction of an earnings beat or an earnings miss. So a lot to love here with these three stocks. Again, just to summarize, we had Gogo at the top, ticker GOGO. Maxar, one of my favorite satellite companies, 5G companies, ticker MAXR, and SK Telecom, ticker SKM. A lot to love here with these three companies. And in case you were wondering if 5G as a movement, as a trend in the technology space is going to go away anytime soon, you're sadly mistaken. We've got the second half of 2020 here in the United States. We'll see a massive rollout of 5G. And across the world, we're already seeing that movement here. So plenty of upside here for these companies. And just like AC/DC, you don't have to go reaching for a new sound every so often. When you find a winning sound, stick with the hits until they don't work anymore. Hopefully, at which time you're sitting on a big pile of cash and you can ponder your next move. In any event, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm Jay Rod for Rich Retirement TV, and I'll see you next week.